Oh man, I am so happy about this. You have no idea. I've wanted a better gold farm for months now, and I kept putting it off, until last episode. We finally did it, everybody. We have a decent gold farm now, and we're getting the gold. So, hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Let's Play series. What have we done to the gold farm since last time? Well, you can see we got rid of the chain that was in the middle there. We were having issues with the baby zombie pigmen falling down into our piping and messing things up, but I took your guys' suggestion, put a slab there, and we haven't had any issues since, so that's great. Since the last episode, we have also installed an item sorter. Ha ha ha. So we got the zombie flesh, we got the gold ingots, and all the chicken nuggies. I mean the gold nuggets. Now, in order to get this item sorter to work, we couldn't just do the standard thing. We had to get a little bit fancy with it. Not super fancy, but just a little bit extra. For one thing, we don't have water streams in the nether, right? So we can't just move items around with water streams. We actually use slime block launchers to launch the items up, and then we have another one that launches it sideways into the ender chest. That aligns it. The ender chest is slightly smaller than a block, which is important. And then they fall straight down there. Where do they go? Well, let's go check it out. So, it lands on some ice. Well, it lands right over there, actually, on the terracotta. Then it gets pushed on the ice, and because it's aligned in between the ice blocks and the hopper, it still gets the slippery effect from the ice, but it can also still go into the hopper. And then I put redstone above it just so mobs don't spawn on top of the ice there. And it runs over top all our item filters. This is important because, like, a lot of times when I talk about systems, I'll say 1 times hopper speed, 2 times, 4 times hopper speed. There's a certain limit to how fast hoppers can work in this game. And when you get to a farm like this, where we need like 14 times hopper speed, the standard method just doesn't work. We can't move items around using hoppers. We have to just launch them around with slime blocks, basically. And then we run them over top the filters, and each one can accept a certain amount of items. So if we have 5 item filters for gold nuggets, we can increase the speed that way. So with our big globs of items here, we filter out the zombie flesh, the gold nuggets, the gold ingots. The one thing that doesn't get filtered that makes it all the way to the end here is the golden swords. Those pass over a bunch of hoppers and funnel down into blast furnaces that smelt it down for a few extra golden nuggets. I think it's worth doing that. You probably get at least 5 to 10% extra gold from your gold farm. A lot of people like to just toss them in lava, but I think it's worth smelting them down. You get a little bit extra, and then they go into the chest on the right side here. So yeah, overall, I think we're about done with this farm, and I'm very happy with how it turned out. When I designed it, I wanted to make sure I'd be happy with it long term, though. I made the decision to design it where I could use looting 3 for my sword. We get extra items that way, but the downside is I can't just AFK. But, like I said, I wanted to make sure I'd be happy long term. If we just replace the hay bales that they land on with, like, glass blocks, they'll splat when they hit the ground. We'll get less items that way, but we can make it AFKable. And we have the option of both styles of farm with this, so that's really cool. I'm going to use it as a looting farm for now, though. But if I change my mind later, we can. And we also get XP from it. And overall, it's really cool. Now, when it comes time to collecting stuff, what do? Well, we just go over here, we bust the chests open, all the items splat to the ground, fill up our inventory with some gold ingots. We go walk into the gold nuggets, and at a crafting table, just like this, we'll automatically pick up a bunch more every time. And makes crafting it pretty easy. And then we just gotta put the chest back when we're done. We're also getting a whole bunch of zombie flesh from our farm, which isn't really a valuable resource, but in our world, it's not that bad because we have the Cheetos. I think we have 3 of these guys at least, and we can trade infinitely with them and get rid of all our zombie flesh. Just spam the spacebar and left click on our mouse. Alright, well this is what all the effort in setting up the gold farm has been for, guys. We got 5.5 stacks of gold blocks to trade in at the moment. It's a pretty good amount. Should get some good resources. I just had a bit of an idea here while waiting. Is like, I can't really tell what's going on. Why don't we put some lamps on our item filters so we get an idea of, like, when we get an item, we can actually see it. and it'll add a bit more life to our system, and a little bit more satisfaction, you know. It's like, oh, that just lit up. I just got an item there. Oh, some quartz is going in. Blackstone. I like it, I think. I think it's a little bit more dynamic. The bartering has finished, and from those 5.5 stacks of gold blocks, we got about a double chest of Blackstone. That's one of the main things we needed. Crying obsidian, we got just about 9 stacks. I think we had half a stack of obsidian in here, so I think we got about 5 stacks of that. The big reason why we want resources so much, what we're doing here, is we're trying to fill up our ender chest storage system we set up last episode, which means we need to collect like 12 stacks of every single item in the game, pretty much. And fill up all these chests. There's more on the other side as well, double this. And we needed Blackstone for this, and I think today what we're gonna do, actually, I'll do most of this off camera still, but I thought it might be cool. Let's actually dedicate an episode to resource gathering. You know, it's something I kind of skip over a lot these days. It's a big part of the game, though, and I think there's some interesting stuff to be said about it. So that's our goal for this episode. Blackstone. We had the regular stuff. We did not have the chiseled, so let's get that in there. Yeah, so for this episode, I want to show you guys how I'm going to go about collecting some of these resources, but also maybe some tips and tricks for you, how you might get stuff a little bit faster in this game, and also some oddities with resource gathering or nuances. I think a good example of that would be Blackstone. Like, you can use this as a cobble substitute to a certain extent, and the cool thing about Blackstone is you can actually get it totally automatically. You don't need TNT dupers or any of those shenanigans. You just get it from the piglin bartering. But you can't use it as a total cobblestone substitute. Like, you can't use it to make droppers, for example. The only 2 things you can craft beyond the cobble tools is brewing stands and furnaces. Furnaces you need, of course, for making blast furnaces and smokers as well. So even though I do have lots of cobblestone saved up in my world here, I am going to use the Blackstone for making furnaces and stuff. Just because when you get to like making 50 stacks of furnaces, that's going to tap into your resource supply, even if you do have a lot of cobblestone. So I wanted to pick the automatic method here. Something that used to always happen to me when I would go mining or when I was digging out a hole is I would find I didn't bring enough shulker boxes to bring all the stuff back with me. So if we go check one of my old speed mines down here, I'm sure there's tons of resources, which we can collect if we need, which we do. Especially like diorite and stuff. I don't have a lot of that in my world, so dirt's always good to get. But even things like cobblestone and stone, I would always leave behind because I just didn't have enough space to bring it back with me. So one trick I kind of caught on to eventually, because I always carry a bunch of redstone in my redstone box here, I can take that, right? I'm going somewhere here. Or like when you're mining, you usually get a lot of redstone. I can then craft things like droppers, and it compresses those 7 stacks of cobblestone down into 1, and then it's much easier to bring those resources back home. The thing I really like about piglin bartering is that it gives you resources that you can use in a variety of different ways. So in my case with nether quartz, I could craft that into quartz blocks, but I think it's much better just to buy that from villagers. Most of my world was generated before diorite, granite, and andesite became a thing, so I'm very limited on that actually. I have very little of that stuff. So I'll probably be using the nether quartz we get from the piglin bartering to craft it actually. That might seem wasteful to you guys, but in my world here, trust me, this stuff is pretty rare. And then you can craft that into andesite or into granite. And that now I have a way of actually automatically farming this stuff. Another thing we get a lot of, though, is gravel, and something I think is pretty interesting. A lot of people struggle to get enough dirt, I find. You can craft dirt now automatically with gravel you get from piglin bartering. The catch, of course, is you don't get dirt, you get the coarse dirt, which is probably why people don't do it. But you can process it similar to like a concrete factory, where you push it into a TNT exploder thinger. Just get the coarse dirt in your offhand, get the hoe in the other one. Make a line like this. If you just hold right click, it'll till it and turn it to regular dirt. And then if you want to get really fancy with the idea, another thing you could do is combine the dirt farm with an enderman farm. And make it so you push the dirt in an area where the endermen walk by. Maybe even set up grass in mycelium here, so that you can farm those automatically as well. When they pick up the dirt, and die down at your Enderman farm, they should drop it then. Yeah. And then you can get dirt automatically. That might be a project we do in the future, because I think it'd be a lot of fun. Okay, so next up here, I'm going to be doing some tree farming. I need to get some logs, some saplings, leaves. I'm going to be using Fortune 3 on a hoe to get the saplings. Because again, we got to get like 12 stacks of those even, which is going to take a bit of time. The way I like to farm like acacia trees and stuff is make rows that are 5 blocks wide. Even if you don't have an automatic tree farm, I would highly recommend people use TNT for farming trees. It just saves so much time. If you're chopping trees, you're a sucker. Okay, so after a quick haircut, this is what we're left with. And then I take the TNT, go down the middle, and just light it. So TNT will blast through up to 2 blocks of wood. And it'll take care of any leftover leaves and stuff. And it just saves a lot of time. Woohoo! You gotta be a little careful though. But look at that. You know how many blocks we just chopped with 4 TNT? Over 2 stacks. So we're gonna need 12 stacks of each type of log. Plus, I'm gonna be crafting them into this version of the log. 12 stacks of each of those. Plus, we're gonna be crafting trap doors for each type of log. So it's gonna take a lot of wood. Excellent. So we're making some progress here. We got the acacia, we got the oak done. I raided our spruce logs here. We have lots of those in store, thankfully. So that was quick and easy. Dark oak we snagged from here as well. I've never actually farmed jungle logs at this tree farm. And I found something out that apparently you can't do the jungle trees here because vines seem to be a block that trees can't grow through. Like there's certain blocks they can, like logs, leaves, dirt. But like as much bone meal as I put on this thing, I don't think it'll ever grow because these vines are in the way. Vines are something worth mentioning as well. It's one of those weird things in the game. Did you know the proper tool for harvesting vines is actually the axe? So you can instant break them with the axe. But you don't get the silk touch. And even with efficiency 5 shears here, you do get the silk touch. But it's super slow. There's no way to speed up the mining of the vines, which is really annoying. So they're such a pain to collect. I can't think of any other block in the game where the proper tool won't silk touch it. Okay, let's just double check here. I got the tree devined, so now I'm assuming this will be able to grow. Yeah, so it's the vines stopping it. Aw, yeah. Hey, I go up and I go down. Alright, so lately in the Let's Play series here, we've been running out of a lot of things, I'm not gonna lie. Usually I do like a couple hours of resource gathering after every episode, and it just hasn't been enough. We've been doing bigger projects lately, and some stuff has caught up with me, and it's like, oh, we're out of sandstone, we're out of flowers, we're out of wood, we're out of all these things all at once. So today is all about the resource gathering, and I think I've been at it for at least 6 hours now, mostly just collecting the wood here. And we got the chests filled up. Look at this. Oh, it's so beautiful. So magnificent. So tremendous. That is going to last us a long time, I hope. Please. But we've also been collecting other things like the vines off the jungle trees. We got the leaves. We got a bunch of nether plants and saplings. We collected the saplings. We're missing some birch saplings, jungle saplings, and we need some more dark oak as well. Did some redstone stuff as well. We're not done yet, though. We're going to keep going here. So there's actually one resource in this world that I've never collected before, at least not the proper way. You guys remember this thing? We had a way of converting yellow sand into red sand using a glitch in the game, and I took advantage of that for a while. Doesn't work anymore, though. I'm kind of wondering what we actually have here. So there's some red sandstone. Oh, there is regular sand here, too. We'll snag that. Okay, 1, 2.5. Oh, it's so close, but it's not quite enough to fill up the ender chest thing. So we might go mine some just to see what that's like. Let's see, yeah, because we only have like one shulker full and we need like a shulker and a half. Okay, so the thing about that is we switched our world to Amplified a long time ago. I don't regret that decision. I think it was a good idea. But it does have some negative side effects. One of those being orange sand, I believe, is quite rare. It's, maybe it's not so bad. There's very little, though. It's just like on the very edges of the terrain, I'm pretty sure. Okay, there's a bit of a patch there. There's a bit of a patch there. Okay, maybe it's not as bad as I remembered. I thought it was, like, really bad. Yeah, we can get little bits here and there. But the thing is, because most of the terrain is amplified, the orange sand doesn't generate there. It has to be at a lower elevation. So it's, like, just on the edges of the terrain, mostly. The one thing that really kills me about red sand, though, is it's only 1 block thick. Why is it not thicker? Oh, we could get so much more if it was thicker. Another thing we don't really have too much of is these dead bushes, so I want to try grab a couple stacks of them while we're out here as well. Awesome, check it out, we got the red sand chest pretty much all filled up here. I'm happy with that. It's not a resource we use a lot of, but it's good to have it on hand in case we need it. Same with dead bushes, you know, we'll probably never use these all up. But I know in the back of my head now, it's like, oh, we got them. Okay, so we're back at the mesa again. We're going to mine up a bunch of clay for the clay chest. So I mentioned there's some negative effects to having amplified terrain, but there's also some positive effects. Like usually in a world, you only have a few layers of clay in your mesa. In my world here, like as usual, the stone generates around Y60 and down, right? But because we go way, way up into the sky, we have not like just like 10 layers of clay. We have about 100 or so, which is kind of nice. You don't have to go very far to get the clay. The beacon will just stay in the one spot and you can go and get tons and tons. You don't have to move it around constantly. Oh man, we're really getting around today, aren't we? So we're over at the witch farm now. We're here for 2 things. We got to get 12 stacks of clay blocks for our clay chest, but also we're gonna run around here on a boat. Run around, row around, I don't know, and collect some lily pads. Look at these guys. They have probably been there forever. Let's leave them alone. Okay. What do you guys think about the idea of having, I don't know if it would be a tool, maybe an armor piece or an enchantment for armor, but something that lets you pick up items from a distance, kind of like a magnet in modded Minecraft. Do you think that'd be overpowered in vanilla? Because I'm like noticing a lot of times when I hit these lily pads, it's like they're way too far away for me to pick up, and I got to make a second pass. Or maybe like when you're farming kelp in the ocean, a lot of times you can't pick up everything at once. It's pretty annoying. I kind of would like it actually. I think we're ready for something like that. I think it would probably work best as an enchantment, and the more pieces of armor with the enchantment, then the stronger the effect, like the further away you can pick stuff up. I think this is the way I would like to see it done. But yeah, we got it loaded up, everybody, and we got the 12 stacks of lily pads. Oh, that was a fun one. Kind of wish I had an AFK fish farm at this moment, not that they work like they used to anymore. But yeah, that's all taken care of. Now, for each of these loaders, we also need 2 shulker boxes for the thing. So I think I got it in there already, actually. Yeah, so this is one of them, and now we got to fill up a second one, so that one stays here and one goes in our ender chest. The way I do this is I kind of clean out my inventory. I look at this, I press Q, 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 all the way along, and then they go in order that I want them in the box here, and then we just transfer over. Boop, 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 boop. And then after we got it all prepped, we just swap it out. Get this one over here. It's going to fill up, and this one goes in our ender chest. Okay, next up here, we're going to need 12 stacks of cactus. And I don't show this thing too often, but just outside of the man cave, we have a pretty big cactus farm. It's not anything amazing, but over like long periods of use, it does create quite a bit. More than we ever need. So let's go ahead and snag those. 12 stacks of bamboo should be pretty easy. We just about got it already. Now, we did make a fern farm a little while ago. Let's see if we have 12 stacks in here. Yes, we do. A lot of running around, but thankfully we got the ender porter set up. Get those in there. let's talk sand. So sand farming in my world, unfortunately, does kind of suck. It's another one of those amplified negatives, because when you're farming sand, you kind of want things flat, and this is a flat spot in my world, pretty much. So that's not great. Now, I think it's been a couple years since they made the change where TNT drops all the blocks, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of you guys are still farming sand with shovels. You're a sucker if you are. I don't want to offend anybody, but you're a sucker. TNT, look at that. One TNT. That was a lazy TNT. I just put it on the surface. It was easy. We just about got 2 stacks. A lot of times I see people say something like, oh, Etho spends sand to farm sand. I do, but it's only 4 sand per TNT. It's cheap, right? What I do is I run in a line like this, and then after I'll go again with a shovel to clean up the remnants. That way I do a thorough job of clearing the desert out. Usually I run. I'm not running right now because I'm taking it nice and slow. Oh, you do have to be careful. Don't blow yourself up, you know. It does... I think the reason a lot of people don't want to use TNT is because it does require a little bit more brain power. And a lot of times when you're resource gathering, you don't want to think, right? You just want to chill and relax. But after you do it a few times, you do get used to it. It's not too bad. So usually I'll do like 10 to 20 TNT. You don't want to do too many because then it'll despawn on you. But then I do a second pass and clear the sand down to sandstone so that you get a nice clean line through your desert. Plus you pick up the sand that the TNT dropped on the way. Good stuff. So we filled up 7 shulkers of sand and a bit of sandstone in there as well. We're probably gonna have to go back for more because we need a lot of sand. I've been neglecting it. We need to craft TNT, and we got lots of gunpowder sitting around. This thing has been full. I think it's overflowing. Yeah, when it overflows, it goes in here, and we're just about out of space. So we got to take care of that. But we're also going to need a lot of sand for making concrete. We got to fill up 5 double chests of concrete. But let's not forget, we also need sand and sandstone for our ender chest loader, which is totally filled up now. So sand, sandstone, cut, chiseled, and smooth. And then for the final row in these ender chest loaders, I just put whatever extra we have of the 5. All right, we're going to need 12 stacks of purpur blocks as well as the purpur columns. So let's do a harvest. This farm's kind of crazy. It like always just barely breaks even. Like we're not gaining any chorus flowers, but we're not really losing any either. It could definitely be improved a lot though. This isn't an ideal design. We kind of put it together afterwards when they made it where you could shoot the flowers off with the arrows. Wait, what? That one didn't get chopped. Is that a glitch? Oh, an Enderman. Unbelievable. We had 34 when we started, and we ended it with 34. No change once again. The way that farm works is it has an item sorter to separate the chorus fruit seeds, and then the actual chorus fruits, whatever they're called, just chorus fruit, goes to this building over here and gets smelted in these furnaces. And then this is the pop stuff that we make the purpur blocks out of. It's gonna take a bit of time, though. Oh yeah, there was another tip I wanted to tell you guys about. Don't buy clay from villagers. I realize this is actually a bad deal. Let's assume you have infinite emeralds and they have no value to you. It's still not worth it because when you do the trade, you can only get 12. And it's not worth the time to click here and do that. Because you can mine 20 clay a second, I believe. And it takes longer than a second to do that. So you're just better off going to a mesa. Anyways, it's about time we have to wrap up our episode for today. It's a weird one, right? We didn't do any building, which is kind of against my rules for this series. I try to do a little bit of building every episode. It's a weird episode, though. I kind of wanted it to stand out as a different one. We will do just a little bit of building, though, just because we have to. Just a little bit. Around the nexus here, I'm going to add some andesite. This is supposed to be like a transition material because it kind of works with all these blocks. It kind of works with grass, kind of works with this, kind of works with that. Instead of going straight from the building to the grass, it looks weird, right? Like it's got a very strong contrast. By putting a border around this, it'll transition a little bit easier, and also looks like the building will have a bit more of a foundation. The front of the Nexus looks very dark because it's pretty much just the dark concrete there. Other parts of the building have other stuff mixed in with it, so let's try and mix some stuff in with the front here as well. We're going to add some slabs over top this middle section to keep this theme that we have in other areas. Like we have slabs here, we have slabs above the concrete there. Let's do it in the middle as well. And I think we're going to add some light blue clay around this landing zone as well. Maybe we'll build it up like this and just go around all the concrete. So I think I like that a bit more. Got the andesite around the building, the light blue clay, slabs over the middle there. And we even added in a staircase and connected it up to the path here. Probably will be making some tweaks to it in the future, but just for now, I think it's a bit of an improvement. So I'm happy with that. Let's get to the comment of the day. It says, "Hey Etho, the new snapshot that came out changed to the new cave what? The new snapshot that came out changed the new cave generation." Let's go with that. "And lowered the bedrock level to -64. I think everyone following your Let's Play must be wondering, are we going to be seeing a Man Cave 2.0 in the future?" Now, I've thought about this. So if you guys didn't hear, they're adding 64 blocks below the world and 64 blocks to the top of the world. Another 128 blocks of play space, which is pretty cool. Now, I don't think we will ever do another man cave the same as what we did over there. There would be no point, right? If we want, we can expand that, the one we're living in, but we might live underground, but with a different style of base. Is that something that would interest you guys? Let me know in the comments, and if it is, we'll go find a cave in the next update, and we'll set up there, and not make another man cave exactly. We want different block palette, different rules and stuff. I think the next base I want to make it work where you zoom around it with Riptide. That's like something high on my priority list of fun, you know? So we'll be designing around that most likely. But yeah, with our current world here, what does this change mean for us? Well, we don't know exactly just yet, but I suspect the world's not really going to change. That's generated already, which means I'm going to have my bedrock at Y0, and I think if we break a hole through the bedrock, we can go down another 64 blocks. I think that's the way it's going to work. But again, I don't know for sure. They might change the generation, so the first time you load up your world, it adds a bunch of stone underneath. We'll see. But, yeah, we might be able to expand down in our existing man cave as well, which would be cool. Anyways, that's it for this one, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, even though it was a bit of a weird episode. But we did a lot of resource gathering. I was able to catch up, and we invest now for the future, right? Something like that. Hope you guys have a great day, though. Take care. Bye-bye.